Olungadinga inyasoro sinoye muda lolo besauto.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce my dear friend Anika Noni to you today and have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
You may know her as a Tony Award-winning actress, singer. She's been a dream girl. She's been a cat on a hot tin roof. She has even been Simpsonized. But now she's taken on the pivotal role of Kizzy in the reimagining of Roots. And I just watched clips of it last night, and I'm so proud of her. It's a beautiful, beautiful role, and you do beautiful work in it. And so I'm just happy to talk to you about that as well. So first of all, I want to know, what inspires you, and what inspired you in particular to take on this role of Kizzy in Roots?
Well, part of what inspired me to take on the role was you.
I didn't want this to go back to me, but apparently all roads lead back
But
to me.
more about you.
So tell me more about me. Go for it.
You know, I was really conflicted at first. I wasn't sure what the background was, what their motivation was. Was it the jump on the bandwagon of the so-called slave story, slave narrative? I read recently that term, which I didn't appreciate. Or was it a group of people who were wanting to do something with integrity, with truth, with honesty, and with a forward-looking motion? So they requested an audition, and I requested a meeting. And we talked about it. The producer and the director and I had a real good conversation. But at the time, I wasn't even being brought in for Kizzy. And I got there, and they were looking at me and looking and looking, and they were like, what do you think about Kizzy? I was like, oh, well, she was fantastic when I saw the movie, Miss Leslie Uggams, blah, blah, blah. They were like, no. What do you think about it? Are you interested? We need somebody who can go from very young to quite mature. And I said, oh, well, let me go home and read the script from that angle. And here we are. But you know, once I came to the why of it, why it was being done, then my why was very clear. I am of the opinion that this story and others of its ilk should be told with regularity. It is the base of the heritage of who we are is as Americans. And it is the truth, which is very uncomfortable, of what is America's second Holocaust. Right here on our shores. I think it should be told as often as we hear about the Jewish Holocaust. I think we should hear more about the parts of America, the parts of our history that aren't quite comfortable, because it really is what makes us the group of people that we are in here today in so many varied shapes and sizes and hues. That's what makes America. So we have to tell those stories just like we tell the fun, rah-rah, you know, fireworking, home of the brave and land of the free and all of that. We have to tell some truth.
All right. So I had the pleasure last night of spending a few hours to research you, and so it's pretty wild. First, I'll tell you, we've been friends. This year's marking our 20th anniversary as friends. And she is my best friend, my sister. And so I spent a couple hours last night researching because I wanted to just have more detail and also share some things with you all that you may not know about her. Well, I stumbled upon a performance of hers for MLK Now. And she sang a song by J. Cole called Be Free. And I was shaken to the core. And I wanted to ask you as well, how important, you seem to be a part of things in your spirit as well. You're very active in terms of like making sure that people have this thought about who we are and our humanity on your consciousness. How important does this theme resonate in your choices that you make with your work?
You know, it's really interesting because there are a lot of things that sort of come to me, and I think that our spirits resonate at a frequency, and other like frequencies come towards that and are brought in. but I think that it hurts me greatly to see what seems to be at this point in our lives a really strong lack of empathy and lack of the ability to be humane when looking at somebody that we think is different from us for whatever reason, whether it is that their English is accented, whether it is that their skin is different, whatever the reason, they like a heel instead of a sneaker or a Timberland. It bothers me. I don't like bullies. I have a real problem with that. Not in my life, but in looking at that. I can't look at that and not say something. So I was honored when Ryan Coogler called and asked me to be a part of the MLK Day celebration, which was MLK Now, which is how we are talking about his message and moving his message forward into the today, because his message is still extraordinarily relevant, because we're humans and we're fallible and we mess up and we go back and we do the same stupid things with some sort of regularity. But if we don't look at them, if we don't talk about them, if we don't expose them, we will never change that pattern. It was quite an honor to sing J. Cole's song. I didn't know he was going to be there, and he was, and I was extraordinarily moved because I had, on my mind Eric Garner. I had on my mind all of these people who have suffered the ultimate disrespect leading to their death lately. And that was coursing through me as I was singing this song. So it seems to be that where my spirit vibrates, those things come to me. And it's not always something that I want or knew that I wanted or was looking for, or even the thing that I think is, well, that's not the right thing for me. And I find out it is the right thing for me in that time period. So I've been really lucky in that way.
Beautiful. We, as this wonderful woman was our first African-American Disney princess. Princess Tiana. And let me tell you what this woman does for her friends, because she's, as a Disney princess, part of her duty was to go to Disney World. And
Tough work.
tough work. And deliver a candlelight Christmas.
It was a candlelight Christmas celebration, so I tell the story of Christmas with candlelight, with choirs from all different parts of America behind me. It's stunning.
It was incredible. And one of the most significant moments for me, because she took me, is she was very excited to share something with me, and it was something I needed, and it inspired a play of mine called Wild with Happy. She actually said that while we were walking around. She said, "Look at everyone here. They're just all wild with happy." And that stayed with me. So we somehow, of course, the people you love, they inspire you. But will you tell us about that? Will you tell us about what you shared with me? You were excited to share with me, and what took us back to being kids.
Remind me, what did I say? Oh my God, that's right. So we went to the fireworks celebration at Disney World. I'm not a big fireworks person. I can take it or leave it. It's loud, there are too many people, it's hot. You know what I mean? Like, it's the end of the day, you can't get home afterwards. It was really pretty, but how are we getting back up the highway? So I took Coleman and a group of friends, probably about 6 of us, to see the Disney World fireworks celebration, which I had never seen before, but I heard was magnificent. And it was so moving. It was a celebration of the people of the world and a celebration of love and spirit. And we all sat there, all of us adults. I brought not one child, trust. A child did not go with me. And we sat up there, very legal people, and boo-hooed about fireworks at Disney World. We looked at, I think everybody was trying to be real cool about it because it was shocking to each person. And then we sort of peeked around and were like, all together.
Sobbing,
boo-hooing.
like the ugly cry. We were like, oh my God, I believe. Yeah, exactly.
We had to go somewhere and find alcohol at Disney World. We had to heal that rift afterwards, but it was an amazing experience, and it's something that, when you think about Disney World, you really do think about people running rampant and children like full of sugar and high on joy. But what you don't think about is that place that they have set aside, particularly at that time after the Candlelight Christmas Story, that was all about peace and joy and togetherness. And it really was, for that moment, for me and for us, the happiest place on earth. And they did not pay me for that.
Because we are such dear friends, I wanted to just ask a question and share this, because I'm sure many people who juggle being an artist, maybe this is something for them as well. How do you juggle? You live on both coasts. You go to London often. You're always, the first thing that I ask her when we get on the phone is, where are you? You know, and she has to ask me, where are you? How do you juggle, especially having close friendships, your art, all that challenging stuff? You know what I mean? How do you continue to create a life for yourself and such joy? Because I think of you as one of the most joyful people that I know.
It's so sweet. I sometimes find it very hard to keep particularly new friendships going, and I want to. So I want to make sure that I text people, or I just say, hey, how you doing? But I also have friends that are so magnificent that they understand that if I don't call you back in 3 weeks, it's not because I don't care. It's just because I'm running around and I'm busy. And if you need me, I am there. I'm dropping it. I'm there. If you need me because stuff is terrible, I'm there. If you need me because stuff is magnificent, I'm going to do the best I can to be there. But I think it's really important. I have friends that do other things. I mean, we've been friends for so long. Coleman, I don't know if you know, is on Fear the Walking Dead playing Strand, and his life is magnificent right now. And but we very rarely talk about work when we get together. Nobody really cares what the other person is doing. I just don't care. Like, happy for you, fantastic, word. What are we gonna eat? There's a new restaurant.
It's true.
And that's what
sometimes I don't know what she's doing, and I'm like, oh, that's you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you're not aware.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. He doesn't know. But we spend a lot of time talking about what we're reading and planning, hopefully, travel that maybe we'll get a chance to do together. And, you know, talking about family and life. And we like to spend a lot of time going down to the Hudson when we're both here. Yeah. Not to do anything particular, to eat ice cream and be out there and watch YouTube videos and play music and act a fool on the pier, because we really don't need much else but each other's company.
Sometimes we just be, like, you know, just...
complete idiots.
Just, like, or just sit on the couch.
Or sit on the couch, eat food, and spend time. Or I come to your house and I just lay on the couch and go to sleep.
Yes.
I've done that. He tried to have company. I was like, no, but I'm napping. We do that as well. So I'm really lucky to have friends who are well-rounded people, who are interesting people as well as interested people. And it's not difficult for us to spend time. And we have a lot of fun being stupendously insane, but also we connect on really wonderful spiritual levels and take the time to revere the things that are beautiful and amazing and wonderful, not only in each other, but also, I think, in life in general. And I think that's really, really important, to take that time to sit by the river, to watch it, and say, look how beautiful that sunset is over there in Jersey. Aren't we glad we live in Manhattan?
She's a fool, by the way. Now, one other thing that I wanted to share with you guys as well. Before Anika took her journey to move to New York, I had a little karaoke party for her at this place called The Mint. And she got up and sang this song that was on her heart, because she knew that, you know, she was welcoming change in her life. And this is after she graduated from the prestigious American Conservatory Theater. And she sang I Am Changing from Dreamgirls. Now, what I think is very significant and interesting about that, of course, as you know, that she starred in Dreamgirls, is just how life does its own sort of figure eight and ties things together, which is very interesting. And I think just in terms of like change and moving and going with change, how are you when it comes to being a creature of change? I've watched you step out on faith many times and do something new. Every time you think that you figured Anika out. She's in another genre. She's doing something else. I know her as someone who all of a sudden is like, oh, now she's going on whitewater rafting, and the next minute she wants to do, like, what? Who are you? But you keep shifting mediums. I mean, how is that for you as well? Is just very engaging for you? Is that what you just love to do?
I don't want to be bored. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be boring. It is not interesting to me to stay in one lane. It is, I need to be thrilled somehow. And I want to be able to thrill. So it is very important to me to be able to stretch myself at all times, whether that's physically, mentally, spiritually. I want to do something else. And I don't know what that else is. And I'm not good at people trying to inflict change on me, because I'm a Virgo. But
the Virgo's in the house.
I'm not there for that. But I have become very good, I think, maybe not very, but I'm in a moment where I am good with the movement that is happening around me, and I am moving with it as opposed to trying to make it move. And I say that, but I'm also making strides in very different places in my own life, and maybe that's the thing that makes me comfortable, to just ride that wave and be buoyed along and take it as it goes, because it used to be very hard for me, particularly if I wasn't working. Like I'd be good for like 2 weeks, and then I'd be like, now I know that that's the feeling that's coming, so I make sure that I have something to do with myself. I think vacation is very important, whether that's a staycation or a hit-the-road Jack vacation. I think, challenging who you think you are as well as who others think you are is very important to growth and to, for me, a fulfilling life, for me.
Wonderful. Now, I'm going to show you a photo.
I'm going to beat you up, because I said there better not be a photo in there.
I'm going to show you a photo, and because I think that not only is this interview about Anika, but it's also about friendship, it's about love, it's about following through. And we follow each other a lot. I followed her out. She moved to New York, I moved to New York. She's on Broadway, I'm on Broadway.
I can't do nothing by myself.
She's in a narrative about our tragic American history called Roots, and I'm in Birth of a Nation that comes out in October. That was just a little plug. That's horrible. Okay, just a small plug. But anyway, but honestly, because we follow each other so much, we have this deep kindred friendship, where she was on Broadway playing Benita Younger, who was pretty much a version of Lorraine Hansberry, and I was downtown playing James Baldwin in Nothing Personal. And there's a photo here that she sent me of Jimmy Baldwin and Lorraine Hansberry.
I love that photo.
What does this mean to you?
That is us. That is freedom and joy and no boundaries and no bounds and not caring and just living life. And look at the love in that photograph. Look at the trust and the care. James Baldwin was so prolific, and in that moment, he has the freedom of a child in that moment. And Lorraine Hansberry was very insular, very much not about people, not trying to be around people. And she is so comfortable and so trusting. She has her back to this man that she loves, and she's just like getting it. She's on the way down. It's so beautiful to me, in some apartment in New York that's close and tight, and I'm sure it's hot. And that's all love.
And that's you and I.
That's me and you.
And I've seemed to have taken up a lot of her time with my questions, and I would like to open it up to you guys today, okay? How about that?
So my question to you is, with Roots coming out, has there been any historical icons that you looked up to, for like inspiration or any influence on your life?
Do you mean with regard to the movie, or you mean just in life in general? I think there are many. I think Shirley Chisholm was an amazing woman who was fighting for things that we are unfortunately still fighting for. My grandmother is somebody who is in my mind and thoughts every day, who was an amazing educator and athlete and somebody who just gave everything that she had. There are so many ancestors, both of blood and just of heritage or of the world, that I can look to and say, wow, that person is amazing. I'd like to be a little more like that. How can I bring some of that into my person? There are a whole lot of people. It's hard to actually narrow down. Thank you.
Yes, my love.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, oh my God, hello. My name is Nicolette, and I have more of an advice question. So I'm also a performer.
Yes.
And I think I just actually, June is gonna make 2 years since I've graduated from college, and I just quit my office job yesterday. And the reason why I got an office job is because it was really hard and I didn't know what I was doing. And so now, looking at you and seeing how you've persevered and how you've definitely become just this star, but you stayed so true to yourself, do you have any advice to a young woman of color? My family comes from the Caribbean, and so there's so many roles that don't speak for me. And I just worry about compromising myself in order to really live my dream. So do you have any advice for someone like me?
Do they not speak for you, or do they not speak to you?
They don't speak to me.
They don't speak to you. If they do not speak to you, then you do not take that role. And you wait until you find something that moves you. And it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It could be like a tickle that feels good, and you're like, ooh, I sort of like this person, this is fun, or ooh, I cannot abide this character, I want to do this. You know, I was in New York, new, in an apartment that I was sharing with other people in the middle of Midtown, where nothing ever was quiet. And I auditioned for a show that shall remain nameless, even though people think I did it and I never did. And I was offered, after many, many auditions, to be a standby. I have great respect for standbys. I have enormous respect for understudies and swings. I am not the one. You don't ever want me as your swing. I will be doing a show you've never seen before because I can't remember. But I knew that at that moment in my life, and they also said, and then you can go out on tour, and then you come back and you be the standby. And I said, I didn't move to New York to go on tour. I've done regional theater for several years. I moved to New York to be on Broadway. And I turned it down. And I was broke, like with a hard K. And you have to decide for you what your line is. How broke is okay for you? And is it really broke when your spirit is intact? I don't think so. I think that maybe there needs to be a new word for that, because you're not broke until you're broken. I think that you persevere and you continue to look, and while you're looking, talk to friends. Who are your friends that are really, really interesting and creative? Try to make work for yourselves. Create things on your own, because I think that that is the real way that we're going to have content for each other, when we make it for each other. And it will come, and you'll know when it's right. You'll know when it's good. But if you're doing something that feels hard in your spirit, it's not worth doing, unless you're about to be evicted, in which case, take it. You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I wanted to ask you a question. Since performing in Roots, what is your favorite Alex Haley piece of work?
I love the autobiography of Malcolm X. I think it's phenomenal. It was inspiring to me and really informative, because the Malcolm X that I knew from school, from news, from clips, was not the Malcolm X that was in that book. And I didn't know truly what a humanitarian this man was, and how beautiful his spirit was, and the journey that he had taken from one place to make a 180 and learn about the world in such a way that he had such integrity that he wasn't afraid to say, I was wrong, I've learned something new, and at that moment he was cut down. I love that piece of work.
Time for one more question.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So since you're such an amazing singer and you're so connected to music, I was just wondering if you used any songs to get into the headspace for your role in Roots.
Very interesting. I played a lot of spirituals because we were working on a plantation, and I appreciated that connection. But I also did a lot of praying and speaking to the ancestors. No, they were not in my trailer with me physically, but I did a lot of speaking to them and burning of sage and really communing and asking for permission to step down this road and giving thanks that the path that I'm able to walk was carved out for me in blood, in faith, in strength. And with that, I requested permission to step out and take this person on with hope that I would do it justice.
And Anika, we thank you so much for doing that and continuing to do that with everything that you do. I love you.